Season 2 of Interesting Grenadians is brought to you through the kind compliments of ACB Grenada Bank, Simply Smarter Banking, Ecart Grenada, we deliver all your daily needs, Gittens Pharmacare, the pharmacy that cares, and Hideaway Waterfront Apartments in Grenadians, for you to relax and enjoy time away from the buzz.
So you've got the new ACB Smart Card. Around the corner or around the world, you can withdraw cash from any ATM displaying a Visa logo. You can also use it to shop online securely or pay the cashier at any vendor's point of sale machine. Safer than cash. Just tap and go for quick payment. Plus, get transaction alerts to monitor your smart card activity. Bank smarter with the ACB Smart Card.
ACB Caribbean, simply smarter banking.
EcartGrenada.com. Here at Gittens Pharmacare, we've served you for generations and have learnt, though your needs are varied, no matter the size of your families, your time is important.
Hey, breakfast is ready.
With this in mind, we give you EcartGrenada.com. Select from a variety of household goods, health and wellness products,
Ecart delivery,
and general merchandise. All available on our website to be delivered to your door. EcartGrenada.com. We deliver all your daily needs.
Greetings, viewers and listeners, and welcome to another edition of Interesting Grenadians. My name is Eugene Gittens, and today I have a big personality to share with you. Well known in sailing, marina, yachting, and music circles, he is none other than Mr. Champie Evans. Champie, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Gene. It's nice to see you. It's been a long time.
No.
Yeah.
When we catch up this way, man. Yeah. So tell Grenadians, tell us a little bit about your family.
Well, my grandfather arrived in Grenada probably in the 30s, 40s, something like that, 30s maybe. T.R. Evans, he was a merchant with his brothers, and they opened department stores in Barbados, St. Lucia. His in Grenada, obviously. It was a big store by the marketplace called T.R. Evans. Some of the older folks would remember it, you know. But it burnt down in '58. So he's Welsh, married a local girl, or lived with a local girl, and had quite a few children, you know. My dad, Leonard Evans, Bob Evans, his dad, you know, he fathered all those guys. And my mom is was a gunman before marrying my dad. And I think they originally came from Scotland, the gunmaners, associated with the Anglican Church here. There we are. So I believe I am second generation.
Right.
Yeah, because my dad would be first and I would be second, you know. But born in the hospital in Grenada.
The hospital in St. George's?
Yes, and the name Champie actually came right from birth.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people.
So is that your real name?
Is it because you were a champion sailor, this and that? No, not at all. Sometimes I'm tempted to say that, but I was actually born weighing, I'm told 12 and a half or 13 pounds, which is a lot for a baby. So the nurses in the private block used to refer to me from day one as the champ.
Ah, so that's stuck.
So as a baby, you know, babies say horsey and boaty and that sort. I refer to myself as Champie when I started.
To talk.
So literally, I was called Champie before Peter, but you couldn't christen a child Champie.
So your real name is Peter?
So, yeah. I'm Peter Evans.
I think Champie suits you better.
My banker knows about it, my lawyer and that sort of thing, you know.
Interesting.
It's it's Champie. I can sign Champie on a check and it'll go through.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Everybody knows US Champie. So listen, Champie, tell me, Peter, tell me, where did your love of the sea and sailing and all that, where did it begin?
Well, as I told you, at Bonner Hospital, we moved to, we were living in Scott Street at the time. So I'm a kind of a town boy, Scott Street boy, which is not too far from the Carnages. So the windows, you could see the water and that sort of thing.
Right.
And my dad loved, you know, we had the beach every weekend from babies. And my dad made 10 children, so we always had a gang, you know, lots to play with. We could form our own football team. Yes. So, but the sailing thing, it's, you know, everything I believe is about your parents when you're around them and your neighbors. The sailing part, going to the beach, you see, we didn't have iPads, we didn't have cell phones, you couldn't play the games, there weren't yachts around here, but we'll see them in magazines, boats. Or you'd go to the Empire Cinema in those days, and the British newsreel, which came, I think, every month or something, or 2 weeks or whatever. And you would see, you know, different things, boats, and in the movies, boats,
right.
Carnage, guys rowing and stuff. But when the sailing boat, I remember the day the bug bit me. There was a race from the lagoon around Glover Island and back. And I remember my dad looking at it through the window. We lived by the Knight's house in Bachelor Hall.
Oh, okay.
You know that area? Sort of behind Co-op Bank. The building burned a few years ago. We lived there.
Okay.
So the window looked straight down at the Carnage.
Right.
And I remember seeing two sailing boats sailing into the harbor. And my dad was looking at this thing with his binocular. And watching them coming in, they were like, I don't know, they just looked so cool, like majestic, you know, no noise, nothing, just there. And my dad said, they're racing. They raced from Lagoon to Glover Island and back. And that's Laddie McIntyre in front, sailing his boat Stardust. And the guy behind him was a Barbadian guy called Lester Johnson, who was manager at Barclays Bank. And he was sailing a boat called Vamoose. So I learned all of this. So it was Stardust and Vamoose. And of course it was Uncle Laddie, and you know, that sort of thing, who played a very big part in my sailing, you know, and most of us, my brother.
So when was the first time you actually sailed a boat?
Well, we moved to the place called The Rocks, which is just above the pier.
Right.
They just built the New York Club, which was where it is now. And so, of course, you know, we walk across Tantine and go to the yacht club and look at the boats and Mr. McIntyre and so, and look at them, and they're getting ready to race. And so it starts with, you know, can we wash the boat down for you?
Right.
And of course, and they leave us washing, cleaning the boat after the race, and they go on to the club and have their beverages, you know? And I'll never forget one day, the same Stardust that Laddie McIntyre owned, beautiful boat. You know, I remember it was designed, it was called a German Champie. That was the design of the boat. I found this out as I grew
years later.
Right? And we were there in the morning. We used to have them fold the sails, and he just looked at George and I, my brother Georgie, and said, you want to come out with us? So this was like the ultimate. This was the first time I went into a proper sailing boat, you know, with jibs and mainsails and that's what. So as we jumped in the boat and we headed out, he handed us a calabash or 2 calabashes and a sponge and went bail. In other words, all those old-time boats, wooden boats, leaked. They used to leak. So they didn't have bilge pumps on it. So they took us on board, and we were the bailers. And we were the bailers on that boat for many months. And every now and then we'd stick our heads out to enjoy the view and watch the other boats, the competition, and we just say, George and Champ, bail. Put your heads down and bail. So that's where you got it. And eventually we could sit on the rail, and we held the ropes, and then they got a little feel on the tiller, which some people will call the rudder, but the correct name is the tiller.
But you've come a long way from there. You've sailed boats all across the world and what have you. What is the longest journey you've done in a boat?
The longest I have done non-stop is to Tahiti in the Pacific.
From to where?
Well, the journey started in Grenada, but it was an Italian boat that I was running in Italy, and we came down to the Caribbean. That was actually, we were here when we had the revolution.
Okay.
Was it the revolution? No, the invasion. Okay. And we had to get, this is after the revolution.
Invasion.
The boss wanted the boat in Tahiti for June, end of June. So I took it to Martinique, and we provisioned there, because the provision in Martinique was superior to these islands.
And provisioning, that means like just
food.
Okay.
Food, ship stores, in other words.
Gasoline, and whatever, and all those things. Okay.
Guns, ammunition. Well, no, seriously.
Seriously?
A couple guns and ammunition.
For security?
Because security, I'll tell you. Because we was, in those days, this was 1985. No, hold on. 83.
Oh, okay.
I think when was the invasion? 83.
Yeah.
So it had to be maybe 84, just after, in those days, there was a lot of smuggling, a lot of drug movement between the coast of Colombia and the Bahamas and Florida. So they were hijacking boats to carry their thing. So a lot of piracy. Just as you're going down from, say, Martinique to Panama, you have to sail right near to Santa Marta. It's not a cool place. So we just figured, look, let's get some equipment, because all the other boats that do it, they got, and we were advised. So we bought some arms there.
So after the provision in Martinique.
Right, then we headed straight for Panama. Okay. Took us about 8 days, I don't know, something like that. We didn't have any incident then at all. So we got into Panama. We spent a little time there. We did the transit, the Panama Canal, which is an amazing experience. Anyone that has a chance, it's an amazing place. Then from there, when we got to the Pacific side, we sailed to the Galapagos. And we spent like 10 days in Galapagos. It was an amazing place. But getting back to the longest voyage, we went from the Galapagos non-stop to Tahiti.
How long is that?
Passing the Marquesas, passing the Tuamotus, and straight into Papeete.
How long is that travel?
That took us 20 days.
Wow. Okay.
20 days. Non-stop, no land, anything. However, we broke the record for a mono hull in those days. When we went to the yacht club and said we did it in 20 days, they didn't believe us. They thought we were lying, making it up. I had to show them documents of clearing in the Galapagos. I had to bring proof, But we had, it wasn't because we were super sailors.
The wind was with you?
We had the wind. You could not have had a more beautiful crossing. The wind was behind. We were carrying spinnakers. I mean, it was perfect. We only had one night that was a little scary. of the Marquesa.
Well, let me ask you that. Apart from pirates, which you had to look out for in those days, and probably, maybe to some extent today.
I think not as much.
Not as much today. What is, and maybe you were about to say, what is one of the worst experiences you've had on the sea?
Sometimes it seems like the end of the world, and then by the time you get to port, you forget about it, and you sail, never go back. But 2 days later, you hoist the sails and you're gone. You know what I mean? I guess it's like a woman.
Have you sailed through a hurricane?
Not a hurricane, but I'm getting to that. I would say the trip that I was most concerned about was a trip from, believe it or not, from Puerto Rico, San Juan, to Grenada. And we were supposed to finish right here at
Prickly Bay Marina.
Yeah. In those days, it was Bill Stevens that had it, and it was first little kind of it was first bareboat charter company, Stevens Yachts, right? So I was actually working for Mr. Stevens, preparing charter boats and every aspect of it, from diving, cleaning the bottom, doing laundry, stocking it, and everything that you could do, cleaning toilets for it, And he allowed me to sail. They were the first keel boats I've sailed. When I say keel boats, with lead, that ocean-going small boats. So, and because he knew of my history with dinghies and racing, and teams from Grenada going to Martinique, Barbados, so he knew I could sail. And so he came up to me one day. He said, "Look, I just bought this little Pearson 30. It's brand new. It's sitting in Puerto Rico, but I know you can't navigate, but Eugene Metzler, another Eugene, who trained under Don Street from a little boy, he could navigate." No, bear in mind, there's no such thing as satellite navigation. Nothing, okay? All you had was a sextant or ADF radio, automatic direction finder, where you tune into the radio station, so you get that beacon, and you draw a line, you put it on the chart, and you're supposed to be where the lines meet, okay? So Eugene was going to be navigator. I was captain because I could sail a little better than Eugene, and so it was a good team. 2 guys. I think we were about 19. Wow. Right? Eugene might have been 2 years older than. We went to Puerto Rico. We jumped on the boat. We took off non-stop. We didn't stop. We didn't even stop in St. Thomas. The plan was to get to Grenada because Mr. Stevens wanted the boat here. It was during the hurricane season. Okay? But when you're hungry for work and recognition,
about hurricane or anything,
you're taking chances. You're gambling. And we left. I think Eugene had done one major crossing with Mr. Street. So, he was more experienced with the ocean, than me. And we left, it was going all good. We tacked up, doing what we call dead reckoning, which is, you look at the mark and you take bearings with your compass, your handheld compass, to keep your position, know where you are. And then
know where you're going.
Eugene just said, well, let's just go a straight line to Grenada from leaving St. Thomas to starboard, which puts us to windward of St. Market. St. Croix. God, there's so many Saint Islands up there. And so we headed in a straight line rather than go down all the islands. We went, because they're curved, we went straight line. But it got very calm. And we didn't have radio listening to weather. They didn't monitor weather in those days. And we saw the sea just starting to get very lumpy. like big swells. And Eugene says, I think we have a storm coming. Because that's what the wind starts to push the water. So you get a gentle swell, no wind, and then it hit us. We were in a full-blown tropical storm just before hurricane forces. We had 60 knots of wind, 55, 60, in a 30-foot basin. We had run out of gas. There was a gasoline, but not even diesel. It was terrifying. What we call the rub rail, which goes around the boat at the top, is like a rail to stop it bumping, started to fall off the side of the boat, and we had to go and tune this thing. I mean, sails down, and it was scary. I thought I was dead. You know what I mean? Some massive seas. I mean, like, we just said, Jesus Christ, We didn't know if it had a name. We knew nothing, because
no radio,
no radio to pick up things. The RDF set fell on the ground. It broke the directional finder. So anyway, we got through it.
And
we had some tin food. We had that. But Eugene says, okay, we're probably here, so we'll sail this course to Grenada. When we should be in Grenada, we saw nothing. Nothing. So we kept going. He said, we probably passed between Grenada and Trinidad going that way. So let's turn back. We turned back. We sailed for 24 hours. Nothing. We had no idea where we were.
So where were you? You eventually got here, right?
Of course, yeah. so anyway, we did have some fuel. We had a little bit, but we were saving it. So I just said, look, Eugene,
put the fuel in this.
I think we are in the west of the chain of islands. Let's just point the boat in the east. There wasn't much wind. And let's just motor east. We're bound to pick up something. We must pick up something, And eventually, we saw something up there, and we looked, and I just saw these two beautiful-looking things. When you want to see land, any land is the most beautiful thing. And we looked at them, and I'd never seen this before. And I went, oh my God, this is the first time I am seeing the pitons.
St. Lucia.
So we were that far. So we arrived at the pitons. I mean, the story, it goes on, And once we got to the pitons, we knew we were the pitons, right? Boom, head for St. Vincent, Grenada. We got lost again the next morning, by the way. Long story. We finally pulled in here.
Strictly Bay Marina.
In those days, it was just called the boatyard.
Yeah, the boatyard. I
which it got back to that.
Yes, I remember that.
So we pulled in there, and Mr. Stevens stood on a little piece of jetty, and he looked at us. He said, what took you guys so long? I remember saying, we were just taking it slow and easy. We didn't want to break anything on the boat. We didn't want to tell them we were lost.
But Champie, you've come a long way from there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I know, so you've sailed with a lot of celebrities. Who are some of the people, who are some of the celebrities you've hung with?
I've crossed paths. I met Morgan Freeman, the actor, through sailing because of the business. In fact, I met him here again. A lot happened here.
Right here at the boatyard.
The day I met Morgan, he was walking down the jetty there, and I was walking out, not knowing who it was. It was a very tall, black man. You can't miss him. He's got a walk. He's got a presence.
Yes,
Morgan.
yes.
And so as I got closer, I realized
who
the hell he was. So, of course, but I remember the movie Lean on Me. That was my major fact with Morgan Freeman. And so as we got close, he had one shoe on his foot, and he had the other one in his hand. But the sole of the other one was disconnecting.
Right.
And he just looked at me and he said, "Can you help me?" And I said, "You're Norman Freeman, aren't you?" He said, "No, Morgan."
Right.
And from that, I think I helped him, took him to the sail-off, we fixed his shoe, and we became very, very good friends. Very good friends through the years, and we still are friends. And we don't see each other much, but we communicate, you know. And I called Morgan after the hurricane and asked him, it was Ivan I'm talking, if there's anything he could do for us. And he said, "Well, I'm sure we could come up with something, you know." And so I told him I was going to be in Alabama. He said, "Well, I'll fly over, and I want to show you guys my new plane too." So he flew over to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and we all met, and we were talking about the hurricane, and I brought pictures, and I showed him, and he said, "Yeah, let's see what we can do. We're going to work on this. There must be a way."
And he did do.
And what came out of it was a cookbook called Cooking with a Cause, Morgan Freeman and Friends, which involved Tom Hanks, Michael Douglas, a list of very famous actors. But the cookbook was done where they each did recipes. So it's a fun cookbook. You can read it a little bit about where they live, and Michael Douglas in not Bahamas but Bermuda, and a lot of Alicia Keys,
and all the funds came to Grenada.
Right, there was a foundation that was founded at the medical school, and the money, all of Morgan's take, which was the majority, would go to the Grenada government, okay, through the foundation at the medical school here.
So tell me, Champie, how can Grenada benefit from the marinas and the marine industry? What kind of benefits does that bring to Grenada?
I don't know, Eugene, if you just look out there, okay? Just here, right now. I don't know if you can pan the camera or whatever. But you see those yachts there, okay? I'm just going to do a rough guess. The average price of one of those boats, average, I'm guessing is about 700,000 US, average. There are a couple out there, might be $1 million, whatever. All these boats, people like, especially the Grenada Board of Tourism and those government areas that's supposed to know what's going on in tourism. When it comes to yachting, they don't really get it. But I think they want to get it, but they don't realize the impact, the money that is generated through the yachting industry. They always say, well, how many visitors you think we have? How many stayovers? That is not the point. They do spend money for themselves, they do go to restaurants, but that is where a lot of the people involved in that part of the government, that's what they measure. But that's not where the money is. The money is in the upkeep of the yacht. Changing, putting new engines, employing mechanics on the island, sail makers, okay? Upholstery makers, painters, varnishers. The maintenance of the yacht, they cost a lot of money. For instance, a business that I am one of the founders, Spice Island Marine, with the first boatyard, which started here. A lot started right here in Lansapina. This place is, it's an amazing story. From Peter Spronk catamarans, which are world famous. The first one was built in that shed up there, called Blue Crane, you know. Yeah, by everybody knows Roger Spronk, Roger's dad, you know. But So where was I? I was getting to a point here which is important. So yes, the price of boats, the cost of maintaining, provisioning. When, for instance, if a very large yacht comes in here, let's say 150, 200 feet, and they have chartered guests coming in, okay? They have most of their serious provisions because they have the stuff on board. They normally provision with, say, top quality meat in Europe or in the States, okay? That's where they all come from, either the States or Europe, right? But however, flowers, they have to have flowers on board for when their guests arrive. Every cabin has to have flowers. The dining room table, the boat has to be adorned with beautiful flowers. There are people on Grenada that a lot of people don't know that make a fortune selling flowers to those super yachts when they come, you know? Henry Safari Tours. Henry is such an asset to the yachting industry in Grenada, but people don't know that. People really don't know how important it is. They have agents where you manage a yacht on Grenada. Once a captain is coming, when you come in with a 300, 400, Mr. Abramovich's yacht, for instance, Eclipse, when she's there, that boat cannot have any problems. In advance, everybody has to know the boat is coming, and it must go like clockwork, okay? And they will pay anything for that. If the boss wants lilies in the cabin, if he likes lilies, you get lilies. It don't matter if you have to fly them in from Miami on American Airways, one bouquet of lilies to have in it.
But hopefully we could get it here. So do we have...
This is the plan. You have some people like, I think, Anne McIntyre or Anne Campbell. Her mom was into flowers in Montjaloux for years. I think Anne does that. There are a few people that do it here, you know. I can't tell all, but so much more could be done. But that's just a little thing.
But let me ask you, most of the services that the boats need, we actually have people. The sail making, the upholstery, we actually have people who provide these services?
Yes, yes. Most of them are foreigners, okay, that actually own the businesses, because they know the business. They know what it can bring. So they come in and they say, I'm going to open a sail loft. Look at all these yachts. So they hire Grenadians who learn. Who learn. It's a good thing. They have to come. You have to bring in the foreigners to do that. They're experts. But what has happened, some of the locals have gone out on their own. Like, you take Clark's Court, you have Mr. Francis, who does stainless steel fabricating, like, you know, building the frames for the bimini tops, the awnings, and around the rail of the boat, those beautiful stainless steel.
He does that.
Pulpits and push pits, okay? Francis is a local guy, and he worked with a foreigner doing it, and he's opened his own at Clark's Court Bay. Busy. I mean, busy. You want him to do something for you, you have to wait 2 weeks. So it's like a dentist. You know, and you're like, no, I need it. Well, I can't. I'm full. These guys are doing extremely well. So you have stainless steel fabricating, okay? You need machine shops. You need machine shops to fix, to machine things. You need good mechanics. You need electrical engineers for rewiring boats, for fixing radars, for doing this, for that. I mean, you have there's an Irishman called Don and Sarah. They run a business called Sea Safety in Clark's Court. They came to Grenada. Very nice people, very capable. And they opened Sea Safety, which is servicing life rafts. Servicing life raft, because the life raft is only valid for a certain period of time. And you have to get it endorsed for insurance purposes. He does that. He opens them, checks them, they're good, everything good. Packs them back up, put them back. $2,000 or whatever. Okay. Now, if you have a 300-foot super yacht that have these massive life rods, when the time comes that they have to be serviced, if they're in Grenada, they don't want to have to leave here with their boat and go to Fort Lauderdale to have them.
Like that service to be done right here.
Do it here now. I'm talking about writing a bill to this yacht for $40,000 US to unpack. I mean, sometimes you tell me you need a new one, okay? But most times, trust me, you just unpack them, make sure they're good, put some more powder in them. I mean, if Donald heard me talking like this time, I said, come on, there's more to it than that, Jack.
I know, but
I'm just being, Donald, forgive me. But it's, but you have to be reliable. And this is where, and they bring in dinghies, they sell dinghies, they repair dinghies. They have a busy thing, you know. This would be good too for the government, the Department of Tourism, or the Andy Williams heads implementation and stuff like that. I would love to. In fact, I plan to. I met him. I like him. I think he's very ambitious, and I'd like to take him around and take him and show him, let him see. They're guys now fixing radios and TVs and so that have moved into the yachting. Mr. Welch, Stephen Welch. I don't know if you know him. He's doing remarkably well. Not everybody has to go to SGU. Not everybody has to go to university. I never went to university. I left school in Form 4 and started to hustle and work. And this thing about the yachting industry, you can get into it. You can end up. If you go on a boat and you do something, whether it be washing a boat, you just present yourself well. You present yourself well and speak the language of the country properly, like you were taught in primary school. Okay? You're not rapping, okay, when you go out for a job, okay? And whatever that job is, you take it.
And work your way.
If that boat likes you, the captain or the captain's wife or whoever is in charge, the engineer, think you're a hard worker, they want to see you again tomorrow. They want to see you. And if you're really like incredible, they say, you want to come and work on the boat? Okay? And you go, yes, of course. You jump on the boat. Now, this is a big boat that's going to go all over the world, mainly the Mediterranean, east coast of America. The big ones go all around the world, right? New Zealand, everywhere. And you're learning, man. You're just learning, and you're getting better. You understand every department, right? I know some Grenadians that have done incredibly well. Like incredibly well in that department.
So let's talk about captains.
Yeah.
Is there like you go to a school and you get certified to become a captain? Is where is that? There
is a sailing school right here now.
In Lansapine?
In Lansapine, that you can
get your certification?
Yes, you can get your. There are a couple sailing schools run by foreigners, but they don't discriminate. Anybody can apply, and of course, everything costs money because the boats have to be paid for. So if you want to do it, you just go out there and you save up and you work hard. You can't say that, oh, my parents can't afford it. That is a lot of BS.
Well, maybe there may be, like you say, some of the people behind the industry might be able to give scholarships to some of these schools and that kind of.
Of course.
Interesting.
Of course,
Interesting.
And to begin with, what I went through as a little boy, as I told you earlier, with the Mr. McIntyre and the yacht club and learning to sail as a little boy, you can go to the yacht club now on the south coast of Grenada at La Fable that teaches kids to sail.
Yeah.
I mean, Basil St. John used to do it in the 80s and the 70s. Basil taught. He had a little sailing school. He did a great job. A lot of good, A lot of people came out of that and did well. I have had June races. I've had some of the guys that race learn to sail with Basil, race with me on, proper big yachts and stuff like that, and were fantastic. Really, really good. You have guys like Reese Evans. Of course, he's related to me. So, but I didn't know much about Reese. Reese is great on a boat. If I'm racing a boat,
you want him to be one of your crew.
Big time. He's good. And there are a few guys around, There's a young Bullen boy. I mean, they're good.
They're quite a few. So, Champie, tell me a little bit about.
Antigua has young boys sailing in the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Antigua.
Okay.
So,
Tell me a little bit about your how you position yourself business-wise in relation to this industry.
I am opening a new marina and boatyard.
Oh,
that's the big news right now.
Okay, excellent.
Okay. It's been a kind of a secret, but some people knew about me. I've been after this thing for years and years, but you have environmental impact assessment. It costs money and takes forever. Then COVID hit. Planning permission, everything was. I was so many times wanting to give up. You're paying lawyers, you're paying, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you have nothing.
But it's finally coming.
You have to. And the planning approval came through last week.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's going to be in Mount Hartman. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited. I have we have a good team.
Right.
We have a good team.
Right.
But I'm not making partnerships are very
tricky.
Very, very tricky. And you have to know what you're doing. I've learned. But I'm excited because it's all about. It's going to be called GGYS. Now, GYS was Grenada Yacht Services at the Lagoon, and I like that GYS. But we are Grenada Green Yacht Services. GGYS. We're going green.
Makes sense.
We're going green. We want a pretty boatyard. I'm not hauling commercial vessels. There's a fine line there, meaning all metal boats with welding and tonguing and grinding and all of that. Okay, we're going to be more into storage in a nice environment and trying to accommodate the charter yachts, and I want to do like a marine mall with shops and stuff,
Got you.
Anyway, and the reason for that is because of my experience all over the world in different boatyards and marinas. I know what they want.
Right.
I know what they want.
Right.
And it's easy for me. You know what I mean? All I need is speed. I need that when a man says, I am coming tomorrow with the excavator, he comes tomorrow.
Thank you, viewers and listeners, for tuning in to another edition of Interesting Grenadians. Stay tuned every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. GBN, for more Interesting Grenadians. Thank you.
Season 2 of Interesting Grenadians was brought to you through the kind compliments of ACB Grenada Bank, Simply Smarter Banking, ECOT Grenada, we deliver all your daily needs, Gittens Pharmacare, the pharmacy that cares, and Hideaway Waterfront Apartments in Grenadians for you to relax and enjoy time away from the buzz.
So you've got the new ACB Smart Card. Around the corner or around the world, you can withdraw cash from any ATM displaying a Visa logo. You can also use it to shop online securely or pay the cashier at any vendor's point of sale machine. Safer than cash. Just tap and go for quick payment. Plus, get transaction alerts to monitor your smart card activity. Bank smarter with the ACB Smart Card.
ACB Caribbean, simply smarter banking.
ECOTGrenada.com. Here at Gittens Pharmacare, we've served you for generations and have learnt, though your needs are varied, no matter the size of your families, your time is important.
Hey, breakfast is ready.
With this in mind, we give you eCartGrenada.com. Select from a variety of household goods, health and wellness products,
ECOT delivery,
and general merchandise. All available on our website to be delivered to your door. eCartGrenada.com.